Okay, what's the word I'm looking for?
Endeavor?
Endeavor to. I keep wanting to say capture Dr. Narf, but that's not right.
Defeat?
It's like some form of find,
Fine.
discover, reach.
Um, Foil? Bamboozle?
That works. Okay. Yeah, scratch that butt. Okay, before we begin our last endeavor to foil the nefarious Dr. Knarf, let's take a quick look at the loading screen that shows off the entire game in one quick picture. We can see a variety of landmarks. At the top center, we have the dome for the Museum Madness and Dome Sweet Dome. Uh, Below the forest, we have Green Park and Root Canals. Green Park area, that iconic tree. In the lower left corner, we have the Haunted Mansion of the Crypt and Haunted Mansion levels, and Candy Factory from Toxic Slides and the Candy Factory. Sewer Port and the Monkey's Trail, and of course City Hall in the center of it all. And the forest we've actually seen in one quick place through the fence. There were werewolves. We also have a very large moon, larger than the museum, probably about as big as the Sewerport boat, which is the largest non-building on here. So you would be thinking that this rocket pointed towards the sky there will be taking us to the cliche villain's base on the moon. It's not the case. Instead, it just sort of lodges itself right into this cliff from nowhere, which is actually part of the Knarf Forest area, split like the rest of the game into two areas, the first being through the trees, which is no less through the trees than the other half of the level, but that's beside the point. You remember this enemy from the Green Park ending. He actually served as a mini-boss. Here, he is just a regular enemy. You hit him, he drops 3 bombs. I'm trying really hard to punch him onto the rocket. Not that it actually accomplishes anything. The first new enemy is foreshadowed here. We see there's a hole that we cannot sink into because it's just a texture. Ignore the fact that they're actually doing something right here, because I hate to give the game credit for this, but in the final area they're doing something that's not a direct ripoff of the Crash, Spyro, or Mario platforming series. They're actually compiling all of the elements from the beginning, middle, and end of the game into one level, sort of as a recap, combination final gauntlet thing on the way to Knarf. You'll see that the tornado is pretty much the only way you can reasonably defeat the Wolfman. Here's a gap we're not going to punch a tree down to get across, because we can just jump across it. Now, you may be worried that you're going to get punched off by this. Don't, because it's easy to time, right? Also, it makes no sense, and it's really cartoony and just ridiculous, honestly. These ones, however, are a bit of a challenge. If you go in front of them, you're going to get pushed off. But if you stand behind them, you actually just... If you stand behind them, you just get pushed off either to the side or out in front of them, which oddly defies physics in some way the game already has not. I really don't want to hit that. They keep spawning the bats probably infinitely, but I don't have the patience to sit around, nor do I have the will to sit around for infinity playing this game. I have much bigger fish to fry. These TNT boxes are a red herring. As you can see, I can't actually carry them to the rest of the level, and they don't do anything from here. Finally, the hole comes into play. These are the nightmarish rabbits with human teeth. As a child, they are the subject of many a horrid, twisted nightmare. They actually aren't that bad in gameplay. They can't hurt me up here. They just make that juicy chomping noise and will knock me over. What is an actual entrancement on gameplay is this bouncing rock. The timing for it is actually a lot more difficult than it looks, and if you get hit, you have to start this puzzling section all over again. By puzzling, I mean platform. It is best often if you are trying to make multiple jumps in a row, just to jump off to the side of the rock as it did there, rather than trying to go to the... That bat spawned outside of that pillar, and you're looking at probably the hardest part of the final endgame section right here, because of so many things are off screen that knock you all the way back to the beginning of it, and that bat is going in the opposite way just so I can't hit it.
I'm confused. Who's breaking windows here?
That's not... Oh, yeah. That's not exactly... Every window that breaks will spawn a bat. Not every bat is spawned through a breaking window.
But
Finally,
I thought every single gameplay element would be here.
You're not far off. Give it time. This is a long level. We actually finally destroyed that mini-boss. Previously, he did drop the K and RF tokens. Strangely, we don't have to get many more of those. I think we are down to one more instance of them. Maybe two. I know it's sad to see the game... Oh god, that pushed me... That pulled me all the way off of the ledge. Also, you notice a disturbing lack of checkpoints so far in this level. A trend that is bound to continue through the end game, because it's the end game. They're getting close to the end of the game. We don't want to make more game. Let's make them play this. Eventually. Oh, I'm not gonna get hit by these. I just destroyed the spawning bat, and it's already back.
So is there only one spawning bat that keeps spawning?
I wonder if I actually left the game going long enough and avoided the bats, would they just spawn without something to trigger them stop spawning, and eventually the whole map will be lagged out with bats.
So there can be multiple bats, though.
I have seen two at once. Oh, also if you are being hit, the rabbit will not hurt you, instead he will just push you off the edge of any platform you're sitting on. That is actually the most frequent way I will die in this area, is being pushed off a ledge. As you've no doubt noticed. Also, these were a rip-off of Crash Bandicoot. Can't give it too much credit, because these weren't in the previous areas of the game, so they aren't original. Or they're even less original. Now, this time, I'm going to make it up these pillars, or I'm going to make it, through fancy editing, seem like I did. Oh, I neglected to mention the bear traps! They also chomp on you, much like the bunnies. Only, I think their sound effect is less satisfying. I hear a bat. I'm not going to progress until I destroy the bat. Of course, because it takes much longer to gain height than it does to...
Get up than it does to get down.
I actually prefer the sound effects to the bear trap as opposed to the chomping of the rabbits, because this is made with metal teeth and not human teeth. Also, look how threatening this is. As long as I keep running...
trap you?
No, as long as I keep running into it, it'll keep triggering, opening, and closing again, but it will not... it does not knock you back, which makes it one of the most forgiving things in this level, and it doesn't trap you, so there's really no threat at all.
It's not a trap!
It's also a checkpoint, so we never have to deal with that again. Also, collision detection is a bitch. Now, as I can state, this is the one of the very few new mechanics in this level. It is the plant that will spit you out, and if you hold the glide button during this, you'll glide immediately when you get control back. So it's a good idea to gauge what is automatic and when you actually can do things afterwards. by using the glide. Just holding down the glide will usually get you where you want to go, and you don't go any higher than that point. Also, the log, even if it's at the top of its roll and has no force, it'll instantly kill you. It doesn't throw you up any higher than that, so you don't lose any height by holding down triangle the entire time, thereby eliminating the gameplay mechanic entirely. Return of the museum bees and mosquitoes in this area as well. Here we have a potted plant.
In the forest.
In the forest. Luckily, he hit me, one-shotted me into the pit rather than on the ground where I'd feel compelled to climb back up. I swear this area is not difficult at all. It is stage fright is what. I've never died this many times on this level before, and in my previous run-through of this, I actually did not die once. And that's an honest, true story. Also, not every hole has a bunny in it, and not every bunny has a hole it comes out of eventually. And now we've successfusly completed the forest part of this, and now we reach the stone. It kind of looks like slide because it's the slide texture we used. Also, it is time to use the sound effects.
Chomp, chomp, chomp.
Oh, and of course we have to throw in a Jersey Devil getting hit sound effect every time. Oh, and because we're not necessarily at 100 lives yet, there are more over there. Oh. Of course, I always fell for the stealth boulder falling from the archway that is not actually big enough to house the boulder.
Square archways, that's pretty natural.
Well, that Knarf, mad scientist, went rogue, implanting some cube DNA into this rock formation. This ledge doesn't look like you can jump up it, but it's just a trick. You can go straight up here. There's no puzzle. Oh! Fooled me once. Shame on you. And just enough to get us back to 100, even after all of those deaths. Now, Wolfman is... Oh god! Second Wolfman. First Wolfman was trying to get to the redhead in the cage, who was obviously perplexed. Now, they're trying to trick you into running into these TNT boxes. The redhead is perplexed because she sees Jersey Devil saving her from 2 Wolfmen. She thought there was only 1 Wolfman, and that's why she's confused. You basically have to use the tornado because these Wolfmen are so annoying to destroy otherwise. They have so many invincibility frames, it's like they are the actual Wolverine. And they also have a little belt buckle with a letter W on it so you know they're a Wolfman. How's it going?
What you didn't know, if you turned it upside down back into an M, it turns back into a regular man.
The trick here is, of course, we have to glide onto the TNT and then bounce off onto the winches. Eventually, even though it's nowhere near our actual damage radius, we can hit it and take the TNT with us. Also, they might be trying to trick you into throwing the TNT at the Wolfman. Don't fall for that as well. Now, if I can sneak up on this plant...
I spy a rock.
I don't know how I fell for that twice. Now it's shame on me. I got so distracted by that plant. Maybe it was the TNT that jarred that rock loose, even though I saw it green off the edge. Another very natural formation of trees going straight out of rocks.
Are you sure those aren't zebras?
Well, that's a very mad scientist. There's zebras pointing at something that you don't quite see, other than the skybox. Which is, looks like a Salvador Dali painting at sunset. Here we have the snakes you remember from the museum level. They've actually migrated into solid stone. We don't need to actually damage these because they don't drop letters anymore. Also, more bear traps for also the bears that live on this rock island. Now, I know what you're thinking. They're going to bring back the Indiana Jones chased by a boulder mechanic. But no, they're actually switching it up on us. You see down there, we actually can't progress through the level because there is a badly constructed pile of rocks in front of us. We actually have to topple over this boulder, and they just both disintegrate. Puzzle solved. Now, if they didn't put the boulder right in front of our path before we got to the rock wall, it might actually be considered a puzzle. Okay. I guess I'm cool with that. There's the infinitely spawning boulders down a ramp that we remember from the museum level, and on the way up to the haunted mansion. Still don't care about that plant. Maybe I'll actually get to kill a snake by the time I get through the rest of this level. Or two. If we do get caught in the bear trap 64 times, Luigi will come and save us and we get to play as him instead. I'll have to show off that Easter egg in a bonus video because nobody wants to see the build up to that. Of course. Also, these rocks are falling from nowhere. Oh, okay.